Hi YouTube, welcome back to Wtf Rc Cars. So, continuing on with the IRIS ONE build. We got the 17.5 turn motor fitted. Didn't see much point recording that because it takes seconds, and I'm sure most of you guys are capable of fitting a motor and setting the meshing. There's just the two screws, and unfortunately there wasn't any screws in the box, and the motor don't come with any, and I ended up having to take the battery screws out of here. I've moved these inwards because I'm more than likely going to be using the shorter packs. So I've put some different screws in here and used these screws to mount the motor because we didn't get any screws left that would fit the motor mount. But moving along, we do have the IRIS ONE fan to fit, and this luckily does come supplied with two little screws, and it just sits down there, and there's a slot to let you move it slightly. So this should be quite easy fix. Only take a couple of seconds to fit this one, I should think. But let's have a look, see if these screws are long enough. So we should just be able to line it up. And I do like how this is adjustable, so you can move it when you move your motor for your meshing. So should you need to move the motor closer or further away, you've got the option of doing this. Now I think the first track that I'm going to have any time to take this to will be quite a small track. So I've gone with quite a small pinion on this one. But this 17.5 turn motor has got some really strong magnets in it. So all we've got to decide now is where we're going to mount the rest of the electrics or electronics. So we've got a small small receiver. So as usual, I'll be running one of the Fly Sky ones. Not sure if this one will be staying or if I'll be swapping it out for more than likely one of the ones with the built-in antenna. But for the moment, I think your receiver is probably going to be better off placed there. We've got a short wire on the fan, which is ideal for it. The receiver wires will fit. For the servo. Then we've got to choose where the ESC lives. Now I did initially think mount it this way, so then you've got a really short pull for the wires, but then your battery cables are going to be pulling over the highest point, and it'll also be an absolute pain to get the sensor wire in. So then your next choice is turn it round a little bit, but then you're going to have to mount it quite far back to get your hand down to the button, and it's making the sockets really awkward. So I think, seems though we've got nothing on the back, I think more than likely I'm going to go in that direction. And then we've only got a short amount of space to use for the RX cable, so that can be quite a nice short run. So that's not going to be too bad. It's easier to get our sensor port wire in, and we can bring it over with the motor wires. So that shouldn't be too bad. And it should give me a nice short pull for the cap pack when we put that on. Not entirely sure if I'm going to go from the top or bottom with this. And I will be mounting this and at least the receiver with the 3M lock stuff that we use. Not sure about the ESC. It is a really light ESC, this one, so I'll probably will gut same. Just gives you so many options to just remove parts without them being stuck down. So certainly for getting likes of the sensor wiring and everything, if things are 3M sort of lock grip tape down, you can just pop them off. And I don't think they've got that much mass that even if you had a bad accident, they should stay put. So, seems I've done plenty of videos on soldering. I'll get these soldered up and then we'll see how they fit. So, that is basically done. All we need to do is get a body shell now and tidy a bit of cabling up, but I've got the sensor wire running straight round back, battery pack wires so I can switch them depending what batteries, and they will reach the furthest most back point if I need to. Nothing's getting in the way of any of the belts or anything like that. Receiver is stuck down there. Then we got fan, motor, speed controller and the cap pack. Pretty in there solid. So let's see what it sounds like. So we're using the Fly Sky Noble Pro as steering. I've got it set to 69 on the end points on both sides, which lines up absolutely perfect. Exactly the same amount of throw. Really impressed with the Wtf Rc servo. Not going to have any problems with that. And so the cooling fans actually make more noise than any running gear. So all that's left to do is body shell, and then we're pretty much ready for racing. I would advise with any touring cars get low centre of gravity batteries, but I've got loads of different batteries, so I just tend to run whatever I've got. And if any battery companies out there send me some LCG ones, then I shall run them in it too. I've tried both sets of these, so the Team Orions and the CNHL, they fit absolutely perfect. But that is now pretty much done. But thoughts on the build. The instructions kind of fell apart right at the last minute, where they didn't tell us about the pulleys. They're not even in the front and rear one of those. So there's the front one down there and the rear one just at bottom. Manual kind of getting up at that point. And if you use the screws from the battery mounts to mount your motor, at least that makes it possible to mount your motor. So even if you're buying a Ruddog car motor speed controller, you don't get the screws to mount your motor, so you have to nix them, which is a bit of an oddity. The actual overall build of the car, it feels absolutely fantastic. There's zero play in anything, but it's all nice and smooth. Hopefully it drives as good as it looks, because it really does look stunning. Just think they need to address the manual a bit. Nothing was difficult for me to do, but if you've been following the channel, I've built that many cars. But also arguably you could say if you're buying this kind of kit, you're not really a beginner in RC. Not that there'd be any reason why you wouldn't want to buy this as your first one, but just bear in mind you might have might run into a few weird issues with the manual at the minute. But other than that, the only other little thing was slight bit of quality control. So one of the little ball adapters, one of the threads were cut off, so that weren't as long as it should have been, and one of the tiny little drive pins had not got its flat machined on it. But other than that, it's pretty good. We get pretty much everything that you need. There's no you don't need to buy anything else for it other than the spur gear and the servo mount, and you may need to provide some screws for your motor, unless you do what I've done and nick the ones off your battery posts. But hopefully we'll get to run this at some point, and do my best to get you a running video. If not, I'll give you my initial thoughts of it after we've raced it. But thanks again for watching WTF RC Cars. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to like and subscribe, share to friends and family, hit the notification bell, and I'll catch you guys again in the next one.